Всем привет! Это специальный выпуск среди специальных выпусков Лёдкаста, посвященных истории континентальной хоккейной лиги. Меня зовут Олег Морозов, а рядом со мной Рене Фазель. Рене, добрый день! Я рад вас видеть здесь. Спасибо за то, что присоединились ко мне в Лёдкасте.
No, thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much.
Ну что же, давайте начнем с юбилейного 15-го сезона континентальной хоккейной лиги. Рене, вы смотрели матчи КХЛ в этом сезоне? И что вы думаете об уровне турнира? Может быть, вас что-то удивило или поразило особенно в этом году?
It was actually a very interesting season, you know, with some nice surprises like Admiral and Torpedo, Nizhny Novgorod, with my good friend Igor Larionov, so that they could come to the playoffs. And it was a very, very nice competition in the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final of the different conferences. Good surprise also Roman Borisovich Rothenberg as a new coach in SKA. Everybody's thinking, oh, that was a huge challenge, but he won the regular season, and then it's, I think, a little bit of experience, making some little mistakes, but for sure he will learn. And next year we have to count on a very strong SKA team. I think he will be very competitive, even more than this year.
Это был его первый полный сезон в роли главного тренера.
Yeah, no, it's he did really well. I mean, he has a big heart. I know him quite well. He has really a big heart. He wants to do everything possible for the good of the game. So I wish him good luck for next year.
В этом сезоне две абсолютные легенды возглавляли клубы континентальной хоккейной лиги. Во-первых, это Сергей Фёдоров в ЦСКА и Игорь Ларионов в Торпедо. Великолепные игроки становятся отличными тренерами на наших глазах. Как вы думаете, насколько важно это для хоккея в целом?
You know, they have the experience. I mean, especially Igor and Sergei. They played both in the NHL. They have the experience. They were actually working with great coaches, you know, so they could learn also from them. And I really respect them a lot, because it's not easy for a former legend like these two. Actually, Slava Bykov also didn't play in the NHL, but he won twice the Gagarin Cup. He was world champion with the Russian national team. So this kind of people, you know, when they actually take the challenge to be coach and bringing the experience, I like that very, very much. And chapeau, congratulations to this. They did really well. I mean, Sergei now is in the final, and I'm also a big fan of Sergei. He's very cool, and he has actually a very good team, very strong, big, tall, good.
Сейчас в российском хоккее работают молодые тренеры, легендарные игроки, которые стали тренерами. Можно ли сказать, что у нас есть свой особенный хоккейный стиль?
Yeah, the Russians were always special, you know, even in the 80s, where the real red machine was there with Tikhonov as a coach. They have a different skating. They work on speed, technique, and they are not physical. I mean, not so much physical as I would say the North American ice hockey. But in the past, it was very much in the 80s, 90s, when we had the different styles, especially during Soviet Union time, I would say, with a typical Swedish style and a Finnish style and a North American, Czech style also, you know, Professor Koska. We had the Tarasov and giving the first, I would say, different style also in the Russian and the North American. Arne Sternberg, the Swedish coach, also, they had really different styles. Today, because we have an international game and a lot of players moving from back to forth, so it's different. We have, for sure, we have still the North American style, but we have not anymore the typical Russian, Soviet, I would say, and Finnish and Swedish and Czech style, you know, and the different skating style and different shooting. Today and Russia still have the speed and the technique. So I'm a big lover of Soviet Russian ice hockey since I'm a small child. I loved the way they play, and now with the small ice rink we have now in the KHL, the 26, more or less over everywhere in the 60. It helps, I think, the games to be a little bit more, I would say, spectacular.
Давайте вернемся к самому началу, к истокам континентальной хоккейной лиги. Когда вы услышали об этом проекте, насколько реалистичным он вам показался?
It's a long story. I mean, Sasha Medvedev, when he came to me to tell me that he wants to do a continental hockey league and have an international league here in Europe. Why not? I think it's a good idea to go especially to go in some kind of competition to the NHL, sports competition, to have an idea that we need actually a strong European ice hockey. And that was actually also the goal, to have this strong European ice hockey on a high level. And I must say, since the beginning, I'm very much in favor of having a future European league. I don't know when it will happen, but the KHL actually is the start of some kind of a very strong European league.
Как вообще создание КХЛ повлияло на международный хоккей в те годы? Все же это в любом случае выглядело так, будто на арене появился большой и амбициозный новый игрок.
No, but when you study a little bit the coming from the Soviet time, I mean, being the collapse of the Soviet Union in the late '91, I was actually watching the Soviet time league. What the 12, 14 teams, and then you go on the 90s where we had a big problem with a lot of players just leaving Russia to go to play in Europe and North America. It was a very difficult time for Russian sport at that time, every sport. And then beginning in the 2000, when they start to try to move up with a strong Russian league, it didn't really happen. And I like the idea to bring then other countries like Kazakhstan, like Belarus, like Latvia, the former Soviet Union strong countries, to bring them in, and also then Finland coming in with Jokerit. It was actually a goal to improve the level of the Russian club teams, and that was a very good move.
Переход Александра Радулова из НХЛ в КХЛ, из Нэшвилла в Салават Юлаев в 2008 году получился довольно скандальным. Настолько, что Международной Федерации Хоккея пришлось вмешиваться в отношения между двумя лигами. После этого, правда, НХЛ и КХЛ заключили меморандум о взаимном уважении контрактов. Вот на ваш взгляд, на тот момент, стало ли это действительно большой проблемой?
No, in American professional sport, they are very respecting the contracts. And in this case, actually, Radulov left without actually fulfilling the terms of this contract. It was a very difficult case. And I think at the end, that was very nice that they could find an agreement in between to respect each of the contracts. And they do. I say that the NHL is very respecting contract with the players internationally, nationally. So, and in Russia, we had other cases, with Yashin, maybe you remember, before the KHL. And I'm very happy that also here in Russia we could understand that we should respect the contracts in between the IIHF, International Ice Hockey, and I would say commercial private league NHL. And we did, and since then we had never a problem in between the two, the KHL and the NHL. They respect each other, the contracts, and this is very good.
В ранние годы существования континентальной хоккейной лиги громко провозглашалась и активно реализовывалась экспансия лиги не только в бывшие советские республики, но и в другие хоккейные страны Европы. Например, в Чехию, Словакию, и так далее. На ваш взгляд, как вот это развитие, как эта экспансия помогала развиваться КХЛ в те годы?
I'm since the beginning, I'm in favor of a permanent European league. So especially to go and to be a competitor to the NHL. So you can imagine if one day the NHL decides to come to Europe and decides to make their own league to part of the league and have an NHL European league, it would be not so good for international hockey. It would not so be good for the club level in the national team. So it will come one day, maybe only in 20 years. In football also they spoke about to have a European league. Basketball is also trying, and it's just a question of time. Then if we have a look on what's going on in North America, Canada and US with the different professional leagues, NBA, NHL, the expansion and the system they have, I can imagine that these two leagues, especially basketball and ice hockey, to do something on the same with Europe. We have a very strong European like Finland, Sweden, Czechia, Russia, the top 4. So you can imagine if we do something like that. I know that the national leagues, they really don't like that. I understand. I will not do it. It's not my goal to do and destroy something. But I just warn that somebody will come who is not in favor to do that actually in a friendly way. That could be a huge challenge then in the future for the national leagues in these top countries, like I can add Switzerland and Germany, Slovak, Czechia, Finland, Sweden. And Russia, but anyway, that's a political decision.
В следующем сезоне континентальная хоккейная лига станет больше, но не за счет экспансии, а за счет возвращения в Лигу Лады, легендарной российской команды. Насколько важно, что в лигу снова приходит клуб со столь богатой историей?
I think it's a good point to get Lada back. It's part of Russian hockey history. Maybe I'm a little bit concerned is when you have too many teams. Actually in the Soviet Union time we had 12, 14 teams. Today we have 23, 22. We will have 23. Yeah,
23 with Lada.
We will have 23. The more you have teams, the more you need good players, and we know that we do not have so many. A lot of leaving or to Europe, or especially go to North America. So it's if you have a lack of players, the salaries will go very, very, very fast and on a very high level. So
по политическим причинам у нас сейчас не так много команд из Европы, но зато в континентальной хоккейной лиге выступает Куньлунь Ред Стар из Китая. Насколько ценно то, что в лиге представлен вот такой флагман азиатского хоккея?
We had the Olympic Games in 22 in Beijing. It was actually also a good move that we bring winter sport, not only ice hockey, but also winter sport to China. And we worked a lot. I mean, me as a president before and with China to try to actually develop young players there. We need to work. We continue to work, and we need to continue to work with the Chinese sports federation, our hockey federation, that we can develop it. It's a big country, a lot of people. It's a sports country, and we need. Basketball is big in China. Is big, so we should have actually more or less the same level for ice hockey as basketball has in China, but there we have to work. So the Red Star Kуньлунь is a good solution. We hope that one day we can go back and play in China. They play now in Mitishi. I would love also to have a second Chinese team, Shenzhen or something like that, to actually promote the high level sport as hockey in China. I think I like the idea of the Chinese to be in part of the KHL.
Что насчет других стран Азии? Они могут посмотреть на Куньлунь и сказать: «Вау, хоккей это круто, давайте играть». Может быть, Корея или Япония заинтересуются.
Yeah, I think that was an idea, especially then we could maybe make an Eastern conference and not to travel so much. But we have also some ideas about, some people, I hear some people also speaking about the Arab countries, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, maybe why not to have a team there. But then it's really a commercial league, it's not about sports development. I always say then it's more like some kind of circus, presentation. We have a lot of Russian now living there, so why not to have Arabian teams, to expand. At the moment, it's not possible to go to Western Europe. So why not to go to other countries, try to expand our sport we love so much in other countries.
Как бывший рефери, как вы оцените уровень судейства в КХЛ прямо сейчас? Заметен ли прогресс и какие положительные стороны или, наоборот, недостатки вы можете заметить?
I was always impressed by the KHL level of referees. I think they're tall, they're strong, they're very good skaters. I like them very much, and I would agree that they're one of the best in Europe as a referee. The Finns are working quite well. The Swedes, the top countries, working quite well. But you need to be professional, especially here. When they do 62, 64, even more games in Russia, who is the biggest country. You can imagine they have to travel to Vladivostok to officiate a game, come back. So I really have a lot of respect for your referees and linesmen. They have to travel a lot. they do not make so much money. I mean, the salary they have, when we compare to the players, this is huge difference, you know. So in Western Europe, in North America, they have a better salary. I mean, adjusted a little bit more to the ref, but chapeau. So your guys are doing really well, and the league is working quite well to train and actually develop referees here. That's good.
Как вы думаете, что стало главными достижениями континентальной хоккейной лиги за эти 15 лет, и что из этих достижений повлияло на мировой хоккей в целом?
You know, as it's always like this, the top league or the top national federation team, top national team should be some kind of examples for the young players. So we have to work together. I mean, the KHL has to work together with the federation, and the federation has to work together with the KHL. We need the development. For me, for sure, the club teams, KHL is a very important fact, but for me it's even more important for the junior. That's the future. You know, we need to have more arenas. We need to give them a nice environment. I know they do. We have a lot of academic schools in different clubs with the MHL, with the academy, with the KHL clubs. They do well, but we have to work with the juniors. This is so important. That's more the role of the federation. You know, the development of the young people. And as long as you say, we have a good KHL top team, a young boy or young girl, she wants to play or he wants to play, so give him the opportunity to play. So we need equipment, we need sticks, we need good coaches, and we need arenas. You know, we need a very large and strong base to actually on the top of the primary to have these players we need to have a competitive and high-level ice hockey.
То есть мы можем сказать, что континентальная хоккейная лига развивает не только профессиональный хоккей, но и детский, молодежный, женский, может быть, даже любительский.
But you know, for sure, I mean, it's like a big pyramid. You know, we have the KHL on the top, and we need the base. The bigger base you have, the higher you can go. You know, so that's I try and I fight very hard to that. You know, working together for the game and having a good strategy, and especially on the juniors. The juniors are the most important today for tomorrow.
Вначале мы говорили о 15-м, о юбилейном сезоне континентальной хоккейной лиги, но какое событие из истории лиги лично вас впечатлило больше всего за эти 15 лет?
No, when SKA won the cup in 17, yeah. 17. Slava Bykov was there. You know, and he's a very good friend of mine. I mean, we were in Fribourg together, you know, in the 90s. He was coming to play with Fribourg. It's my home team with Andrei Khomutov. So, and I have still a very, very good relationship with Slava. And for me, it was good because I like St. Petersburg very much. I mean, I went there. I mean, even in the 80s, you know, Leningrad. So I have a good relationship. I love Moscow too. So I'm more and more. It's a beautiful city. It's amazing. So, but SKA winning the first time, I think it was the first time, no? With Slava. Slava won also with Salavat Ulayev, with Ufa. So I was very, very, very happy for Slava to win the cup there. That was for me. That was one, and we have so many histories, you know. So, but emotionally, that was a good point. That was a good moment.
Ну что ж, Рене, большое спасибо вам за ваше время, спасибо за ваши истории. Я думаю, нашим зрителям и подписчикам тоже будет интересно. И простите меня за мой кошмарный английский. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I understand. I speak maybe too much, so sorry about that.
В общем, вот такой получился выпуск. Немножко поговорили. Я думаю, вам будет интересно. Мой ужасный английский чем-нибудь прикроем, возможно, субтитрами или дубляжом. Ну, а Рене все послушают и узнают, я думаю, много интересного для себя. Всем спасибо и пока. Хорошего продолжения дня.
Пока.